Israel, once again, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth. In the sincere spirit of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash, beginning with the 144,000 who are primarily here in America, which is known as Babylon the Great, according to the Holy Bible, awaiting in these last days for the second coming of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, whose real name is Yahweh Shai, according to the Hebrew. All right, the deliverer, the Messiah, the Savior of the nation of Israel, and the nation of Israel alone, which is only you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. All right, the lesson for this. The title for this lesson will be Don't Be Ashamed of Your Complaints. Don't be ashamed of your complaints. Right? Because what? What is there not to complain about? Right? You know, people in the world might be tired of your complaints, or you might get tired of hearing yourself complain. And people in the world don't want to hear, as much as they complain they own selves, right? They don't want to hear the complaints of the men of the Lord, the elect, the believers and followers of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. They complain about things based upon their own mind, their own thinking, the worldly, carnal perspective of thinking, you know, in which they judge the world for themselves and pick and choose their own standard, you know, and pick and choose their own things to complain about, which may match up with what the men of the Lord complain about, because the men of the Lord complain about everything except for this truth, right? So it's a difference. The men of the Lord, they complain because of what they believe in. Even more, they make proper complaints, right? And if you allow, if you get tired of complaining, or you start to become ashamed of complaining because of what other people think, you're in the wrong spirit. Or you get tired of complaining because you just get tired of complaining, hearing yourself complain, right? Regardless of what, that's the wrong spirit to be in, and you should never be ashamed of your complaints, especially when coming from the perspective of the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shah, the kingdom of heaven being established, that standard, that way of living, that perfection versus everything that we're surrounded in these day and times that we're living in right now, in the present. So, you know, right? So that's why you want to complain to the Lord, right? Cast our burdens upon the Lord and he shall sustain you. You know, those complaints are burdens, right? It weighs heavy on you, right? And the reason why you complain is because you want to be free from those burdens. You want to be free from the weights of the worries of this world. Cast our burdens upon the Lord and he shall sustain you. You pray, right? And you make your complaints to the Lord. You know, that's what prayer is for. You know, to vent to Yahweh Shemel Shai and complain about how unclean, wicked, and evil this place is, right? Proclaiming and confessing that we desperately need Yahushua to make a second return to conquer and overcome our enemies, so that we can be free from this way of living. So, Lord willing us to be edifying, I'm gonna start here, right? I'm gonna finish. Matter of fact, I'm gonna finish. We complain on the contrast, right? I said that, knowing the contrast between the present and the near future. Because the kingdom of heaven is totally clean, totally perfect, totally organized, right? And this place is the total opposite, right? Heaven and hell. This is Luke chapter 9, verse 26. It says, "For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he shall come in his own glory and in his Father's and of the holy angels." Right? So whoever is tired of complaining, they're ashamed for whatever reason, right? For believing in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? For complaining about the way things are now compared to, in contrast to, the kingdom of heaven being established. Whoever gets tired or ashamed of believing in these things and rebuking the world for wanting things to be how it is now, because if you're not a part of the you're part of the problem if you're not a part of the solution, and only the elect are part of the solution, because only the elect believes in Yahweh Shema Shai and is complaining, proclaiming, and confessing based upon the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, based upon the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures, right? Which Yahweh Shai is the embodiment of these words. "For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed," right? So if you're in the spirit of being ashamed, tired of complaining, right? Tired of hearing yourself complain, tired of complaining to this people, or tired of complaining to the Lord, then, and the ultimate form of being ashamed is not believing anymore, giving up, losing patience, right? And just giving in. They say if you can't beat them, then join them, right? And so that's the truth when it comes to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You can't beat the Lord, right? And only if you're the elect will you be able. Do you have the opportunity of joining the Lord, right? And the perfection of that, the perfect manifestation of that, is being delivered in the day of the Lord's judgment, which only the elect, the 1/3 beginning with the 144,000 are going to do. "For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed when the kingdom of heaven is being established, when Yahweh shall make his second return with an innumerable amount of chariots, which are the vehicles in which the angels travel in, the transportation of salvation." You're not going to be delivered, and because the Lord is going to have, he's going to return with the same energy that you have for him, right? When he shall come in his own glory, right? Because when Yahweh left the earth, he was all about glorifying his heavenly Father. But when he returns, he's coming to receive his glory and to bring the reward of the glory of the kingdom for the elect of the nation of Israel to inherit. When he shall come in his own glory and in his Father's, right? It's always Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Even though Yahweh Shai is coming back to receive his own glory, he's still giving all praise. He's still forever going to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father. And the elect are going to, the elect are going to, and that's going to magnify the Lord's glory once Yahweh Shai receives his glory. And the salvation of the nation of Israel is all a part of that glory. The destruction of Esau, Edom, and the plans for his new world order and all kingdoms and nations that are in rulership now. The downfall of our enemies, all these heathen nations, is all part of the Lord's glory. And in his Father's and of the holy angels, right? So, the kingdom of heaven, right? Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, the 144,000, and the angels, which the 144,000 elect are angels. The elect are angels, right? That fell from that first estate, in these chains of darkness, which forced to live in these chains of darkness, which is these carnal, mortal, sinful bodies that we constantly wrestle against, right? Fighting and contending to stay in the Holy Spirit. So, whosoever shall be ashamed of this truth of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, of believing in the kingdom of heaven, believing that all nations of people are not going to be delivered, believing that the ways of this world is going to be destroyed, right? Whoever gets ashamed of complain, part of complaining, rebuking is complaining. When you so tired of something, right? You come in the house after work or whatever, and depending on if you got kids and you come home to that type of life, that type of environment, or you just have to live with somebody else, or whatever the situation is, and the house is just in total disarray, totally out of order, totally unorganized and unclean, right? It's nothing to eat. You probably bought groceries, but it's nothing to eat. It ate everything up in the house, right? You get pissed the fuck off. You might have been complaining about certain things, and when you complain about things, you want something to change. You want to see a difference, right? And then if when things don't change, then that's where the rebuke coming at. If you don't clean this fucking house up, then I just buy some turkey bacon and eggs yesterday, and shit going already. Whatever the complaints be, and what is there not to complain about, man? Everything is fucking upside down, right? There's the only clean place, the only clean and organized place is in the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, it might be a space that you might have a space to separate yourself, to do your lessons, to pray, to study, right? And that space may be in an unorganized and filthy house, right? But you have a space where it's just different. You're in the same environment, but your small sanctuary, right, is different, right? Or when the men of the Lord, right, come together out on the highways and byways, they're in the middle of a filthy environment, but being in the spirit, being amongst the brotherhood, being in the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? Yahweh Shai being in the midst of two or three that are gathered in his name, you know, that's it's like you feel with a force field. You feel a force field around you that just feels totally different than the environment that you live in, you know, and you disregard it, you don't notice it. It doesn't affect you as much when you in the spirit, but when you realize, you realize and you look, you might be in the spirit thinking about the kingdom of heaven. You going off at camp, right? And you actually seeing this in your mind, how beautiful it is. You looking up into the heavens, you in your imagination, you in your pineal gland, right? You exercising your pineal gland, right? Your imagination. You actually with your third eye, cause imagine and see the beauty, start to see, right? Because we could never imagine just how great the kingdom of heaven is going to be, but you could just start to, right? And it just take you out there, right? Your imagination take you, to where as though you forget where you at, right? And then you realize, like, damn, and you look around like, yo, this shit fucked up, right? Might be burnt buildings, right? Might be a bunch of fucking garbage on the street, right? A fucking toilet, a fucking porta potty, right? You go use the bathroom and that shit. That shit disgusting and filthy as hell, right? Fucking all types of noise, the ambulances, police cars back and forth, graffiti sprayed everywhere. It's just garbage juice. They done picked the garbage up and they done fucking left the garbage juice smell all over the fucking street, right? It's just fucking filthy and disgusting, man. All right, but and so it's like there's everything to complain about, right? And we should never be ashamed or get tired of complaining until Yahweh Shah makes his second return in the day of the Lord's judgment and delivers the elect, and they inherit the kingdom of heaven. Give me 1 second, Salaki. Salakia. So what is there not to complain about, right? And so, what is there to be ashamed of, right? Well, I'll be ashamed of your complaints when there's literally everything to complain about, especially especially for Yahweh Shemel Shah, on behalf of Yahweh Shemel Shah and the elect, and wanting to change, wanting a difference, which is the kingdom of heaven being established. And so people, you might get ashamed because people get tired of your complaints. You get tired of complaining because it's like it's not promoted, right? It's not all right. It's unnatural, right? We're not supposed to have to complain. We're not supposed to have to live in this type of environment, and so we're not supposed. We're not complaining. It doesn't feel feel right, right? You want to don't want no one wants to appear weak. You want to appear strong. You want to have a strong mentality, and when you raised in a world which these people look at as heaven or things being normal, people accept. You grow up to accept. You grow up to learn to accept and be content with the way things are, right? You don't know no better. You don't see nothing better. It's like this what it is. All right, fuck it. Whatever I got to complain about, I'm a learn to suck it up, right? I'm gonna learn to take it on the chin, right? You grow an immunity, right? A callous, for lack of better words, right? To the things that you can complain about. You learn to just deal with it. You raised to just deal with it, and you're taught to establish success, financial success, establish businesses, right? Get money, chase the bag, to get rich to solve your problems, but it doesn't solve all your problems. No amount of money could ever solve all your problems. The richest people, the top banking families of the world, with all the money that they have, they can't stop the end of the world from coming. They can't stop the day of the Lord's judgment from coming about, which is going to destroy them, which is going to bring them out of power, which is going to bring a rapid and instant end to all of their success that they built up. So there's only one way to be safe, right? There's only one solution: the kingdom of heaven being established, and which is going to be perfection, perfectly clean, perfectly orderly, right? Perfectly in line, right? Things are going to be put in their place right side up because everything is upside down right now. So, Salakia, don't be ashamed of complaining. All right, so I'll grab this one. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 15, right? 2nd Ezra 15 and 8. It says, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness. The Lord is not holding back his spirit of judgment for all the wickedness, all the sins that are being committed, right? And part of the elect are looking to be one in the spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai, in order, right? Under the same order. And it's because of the spirit that's on them that they complain. They don't hold their tongue, right? And they get tired of accepting things for what they is, knowing that things are not supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be different, totally different, the opposite from what things is now, which they profanely commit, meaning consistently, right? which they profanely commit profaneness outside of the temple, right? So the wickedness and the sins that they commit, the behaviors that they exhibit, they do it with no regard. They do it as without caring, as the heathens who are outside of the temple, right? 2/3 of the nation of Israel behaving themselves as heathens and not like Israelites, right? Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise. So people celebrate birthdays over and over, right? And celebrate. It's not enough that they celebrate, that they dedicate one day to themselves, right? Which is, you only got one day. If you celebrate birthdays, which is wicked, which is off and profane and pagan worship, then technically you're only supposed to have one day out of the year where you celebrate your birthday. But that's not enough for these people, and they exercise celebrating their birthday for a whole weekend or a whole week or a whole month. Oh, it's my birthday weekend, it's my birthday month, so they constantly and then they celebrate all of the pagan holidays, which are the total opposite of the holy days. The holy days are righteous. The holy days is what the Lord set up, and these holy and these holidays are a false imitation of the holy days, and meant to replace the holy days, right? Meant to distract you from acknowledging and understanding that the Lord set up holy days for our people to celebrate. It's a part of the law, right? One of the holy days being the Sabbath. The Sabbath is a part of the keeping the Sabbath, remembering the Sabbath is a part of the 10 Commandments, the top 10 of the law, statutes, and commandments, right? So they constantly get tattoos. They constantly get shape-ups. Women constantly wear clothing revealing their their body parts. Women are supposed to wear dresses. Right? Women are not supposed to be revealing at all. It's supposed to, how a woman looks under her clothing is supposed to be a secret, a special thing only for her husband. And it's not supposed to be so fucking hard and difficult to not look at another man's woman. I find myself rebuking this world, right? I find myself rebuking myself. Stop fucking looking at that bitch, because it's like, you a man and you got these you straight. You're not a mo. So at the end of the day, right? It's not, especially in a city, right? Or you go to the gym. These women be so fucking revealing, and they be having these nice ass shapes, and it's like, damn. And it's like 9 times out of 10, they dealing with somebody, right? And you're not supposed to be looking at them. It's you start looking at them, and showing all them titties and the fucking cam, they got their camel. They do that shit on purpose. They wear the motherfucking leggings that got the thong built in them and shit. And they go to the gym like that, and they know that they got all that ass, got their stomach out. They leave nothing to the imagination and expect they know you're gonna look, but then they complain when they catch you looking. So this world is just totally in disarray. But speaking of exercising, right, in which they wickedly exercise, right, they continuously do the same things over and over and over and over. Behold, the innocent, right, getting to the point, Salaki, I don't want to make this long. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, right? The people who have the elect who have dedicated their lives into death, the elect who have been put to death for this truth, right? It's the righteous blood that complained, not only complained, prophesied, proclaimed, and confessed, right? While they were living on the earth, but they're still complaining in the spirit world, right? The innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually, right? Those who are and will be justified in the day of the Lord's judgment for their sins that they've committed, right? The souls of the just complain continually, right? So that's what the Lord wants you to do, right? Complain, proclaim, and confess, right? For the way that we are forced to live compared to how things are supposed to be, which is how it's going to be once the kingdom of heaven is established on the face of the earth, right? And so Salakia, all right, don't be ashamed of your complaints, right? Because like I was saying, you get tired of hearing yourself complain. You look, it's strong, right? You're being strong. You're being responsible, right? By just accepting things for what they is, rolling with the punches, and making the best out of your situation, right? I was taught, right? A problem is no longer a problem if there is a solution. I learned that at a very young age by a wicked ass person, right? In our reality, but I picked up, I picked that up from him, right? That positivity, that positive way of thinking from him, right? And so that's the truth. Whatever you had to complain about, you won't have to complain about it anymore once you find a solution, right? And so the solution of all of our complaints, all of our problems is Yahweh shall return in the kingdom of heaven being established, right? But when you don't believe in Yahweh Shem Shah, you don't believe in the kingdom of heaven, you don't believe in those things, then if you don't have you complain about walking and catching a bus, you get a car, right? You save up some money, you get a car. If you do something about it, if you right, everything 9 times out of 10 resorts to the solution to all problems in the world with the worldly mindset is to get some fucking money, right? To get some money, and if you ain't grinding, right, then at the end of the day, you deserve to complain. But that only keeps you trapped up in the rat race. That only keeps you caught up in trapped inside of the fucking matrix, man. Keeps you inside of the box, right? You're only allowing yourself to further be a slave, all right? And that mentality is going to lead these people to receive that micro seed here, which is the MOTB, pursuing Revelation 13:16, making them permanent slaves until Esau, Edom, and these nations that are in rulership until death. So don't get tired of complaining. Don't be ashamed of your complaints. Complain to the Lord, right? And like I said, there's everything to complain about. So it's not, it's not what's the word? Fuck. It's not an unhonorable thing to do. Even though it might feel unnatural, you get tired of, people might say, oh, you complain too much. All right, I'm tired of you complaining. Right? At the end of the day, that means that they're in the wrong mentality. If they're not complaining, that's a bad sign. Right? Because from, first of all, we're Israelites. We're constantly being lied to by our government. We constantly have, in 2025, it's public knowledge and information. Still, you have these fucking rats, these small hats, these J's, right? Amalek running around, still portraying to be who we are, the wicked of the earth continue to rule, right? And so we're constantly surrounded by our enemies, 2/3 of our people included, right? And only when you're amongst the brotherhood, the only safe place, the only clean and organized place is in the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, right? In your own space, wherever they may be. It may be in the car or when you're amongst the brotherhood, wherever you may be, regardless of the carnal physical environment around you, right? But outside of that, right, from the fucking streets that we walk on, right, it's unnatural, right? It's imperfect. It's not good for your feet, right? This pavement is not good for your feet. The fucking air that we breathe is not good for us. It's full of chemicals. They say inside of your home, fucking home is more chemically harmful than outside of your home with all of the pollution, right? Fumes from fumes from vehicles, all the vehicles being driven on the streets, and the number of vehicles being put on the streets don't increase. It increases every fucking day, every year. People always buying cars. My fucking cousin and bought some motherfucking so many motherfucking cars, they ain't nowhere to park on the block no more. You gotta complain about that. Oh, bro, I gotta park all the way around the fucking corner, right? We're surrounded by our enemies, right? All these stores that we're being fed poison by is owned by all these heathen nations, and we complain about Esau, Edom, but the Lord is bringing down all these heathen nations that are in rulership. These fucking Elamites that fucking own these liquor stores. Try to act like, they try to catch on to our swag and our lingo, so that they can have a sense of comfortability, and they just fuck it up every time, man. I hate these fucking I hate going in these liquor stores. I hate going in these Chinese stores. I hate my children and fucking my Eve going in these fucking my people period. Our people period going into these fucking these wig stores, these beauty supply stores, right? These chicken shacks, right? These gas stations, is everything. No matter where you go, we're surrounded by all fucking heathens and our people in a heathen like mentality, right? The foods is fucked up, poisonous, right? The the so-called cures, which they don't cure you, they just treat you, right? This the 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 so-called medicine that they give you to heal yourself from eating these foods, from breathing this fucked up air, right? Diseases all over the place, garbage all over the place, right? The laws is corrupt. What is there not to complain about, right? The so-called medicine, the so-called solutions that they give you to make things better only make things worse, man. More money, more problems, right? These fucking so-called medicines, which are drugs, which is witchcraft, right? They heal one thing and fuck up something, fuck up 5 different things, right? They kill your spirit, they drain your energy, kill your testosterone, right? It's just poisonous, man. This place, what is there not to complain about? When, in contrast to the kingdom of heaven being established, where Moab, Ammon, right? Moab the Chinese, Ammon the Japanese, fucking Ham, right? These fucking Africans, Elam, these fucking East Indians, right? Edom, these fucking devils, the nation of so-called white man, all these heathen nations, all of our fucking enemies that we're surrounded by, we're behind enemy lines, right? Constantly, they're gonna be in total subjection under our people, with us perfectly keeping the law, statutes, and commandments over them, right? That's a relief in itself, right? We're gonna be able to think clearly. We're gonna be able to breathe, clean air. We're gonna have bodies that are gonna be perfect. We're not gonna have anything to complain about. Right? And the more that we complain now, the more that we proclaim and confess and beg for Yahweh Shemel Shai to bring about the destruction of our enemies, the faster we all of our burdens will all of our complaints will go away. Salakia. So I'm gonna grab a couple more scriptures and close out, right? This is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. It says, and the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, right? Which that great city is Babylon the Great, which is America, which is where the primary the bulk of the deliverance and salvation of the end of the world, of the thermonuclear destruction of the day of the Lord's judgment is going to take place, right? This is where the 144,000 are primarily, right here in the belly of the beast, America, Babylon the Great, right? Through the midst of Jerusalem, right? Because the elect are only Israelites. Jerusalem being the holy city of the nation of Israel, the nation of Israel being the people before it's a place. When you see Jerusalem, when you see Jacob, right? When you see Judah, when you see Israel, those different names are all talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, the elect of the 12 tribes of Israel, right? And set a mark, which the word is the Wa, which is a mark of exemption from judgment, and set a mark, right? And the reason why they're going to be in this mark, you have to have this mark in order to not receive the charagma, the other mark, the mark of this beast-like system, right? Which if you receive that mark, then you are bowing down. You're worshiping the rulers of this earth, the wickedness who are in rulership, and you're voting, so to speak, permanently voting for them to stay in rulership, right? You're making yourself a permanent enemy an irreversible enemy from the Heavenly Father, right? Which if you don't have the Wa, the mark of exemption, the mark of the elect, the spiritual mark, right, which only the 144,000 and 1/3 of the nation of Israel will have, then you will receive that charagma, no matter how you cut it and slice it. And even if you don't, you're still not gonna be delivered. You're still gonna be put to death as a 2/3, right, for your wickedness. You're gonna die a dishonorable death, right? If you're a heathen, of course you don't have the Dawah, right? Of course you don't have the you can never have the mark of exemption from judgment. And even if you're not put to death, then you're going to be dragged into slavery, 1,000 years of hardcore slavery, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, right? When you another word for cry is complain, right? And when you you know how many times a day I say I do a brother. You know how many times a day I do that shit? And if I'm around the wrong people, they get tired of hearing that shit. Why you always huffing and puffing, right? What the fuck is there not to complain about? You know? What the fuck is there not to complain about? You gotta, it's you gotta just, working a job is a 9 to 5, right? Making an honest living is what they call it, right? That's hell, right? Brothers call it the plantation, right? That's fucking hell. If not for no reason, it might be a good job, right? It might pay good, right? It might not be, that burdensome, but but guess what? If you stop going to work, you depending on your job, no call, no show, you're fired. It's no longer your job. You're fired, right? Check that out, right? You gonna suffer. You're gonna suffer the consequences of not calling and not showing up to work. You gotta constantly, every day you gotta continuously, or whatever days you gotta work, you constantly doing the same thing over and over and over. So it might be a decent job, it might pay good, but compared to the kingdom of heaven, right? This is not your rest. No matter how much money you get from these jobs, it's not enough. You can't stop. They don't want you to stop, right? You gotta continue. You gotta do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And that shit is fucking vexing. This woman, who appears to be a devil, brother loaded her up. She was complaining or whatever, and she said she like almost 60 years old, and she been working her ass off all her life, and it's still not enough. Compared to China, right, where they take care of their people, their infrastructure looks way more better. Their healthcare setup, right? Their tax situation, that in America, she was complaining about how we were constantly taxed for everything. How they don't take that tax money and make our environment better for us, right? You can't afford for health care. You can't afford to retire. Which retirement is supposed to be a time in your life where you done worked enough to be able to rest, to be able to get comfortable and enjoy the labors, the fruit of your labors. But that's not the way that Babylon the Great is set up. All right, and they want the whole earth to be under the same vibration. They want to Americanize the whole fucking planet Earth. That's what the New World Order is. One world government, one world army, one world money system, which is the MOTB, the micro C hip technology. Right? And that's another thing to complain about. It's not enough. As fucked up as things is, they want it to be worse. They want to exterminate the masses of the people. They want to totally not drastically change the population, right? From I forget how many people it is on the planet. I think it's like, is it like 9 billion? Is it like 9 billion, something 6 billion or some shit like that? They want to knock it down to a couple 100 million, if I'm not mistaken, right? I forget, but whatever the numbers is, they want to drastically, by way of extermination, bring the population down. They want to kill you. They want you to die off. They want you to suffer and fucking die. So what is there not to complain about? And if you're not complaining, then you're not one of the ones who has the mark of the wall set upon their foreheads, right? Right. And set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry. They're constantly complaining. They're constantly prophesying, right? Proclaiming and confessing that the kingdom of heaven is about to be established and the ways of this world is about to be totally fucking destroyed. All right. For all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof, right? You got fucking, you got to worry about these your own children, that you did everything that you could do for them as far as being raised right, growing up to be a fucking mo, to want to transform into, the opposite sex, right? You gotta worry about them living that abominable type lifestyle. You gotta worry about them being strung out on drugs or being hit by a car, living a life of a drunkard, right? You gotta worry about them being a sinner. You raise them to know Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, to know the law, statutes, and commandments. You try your best, you do your best, and it's not enough. It's not enough, because the whole of this world, the temptation, the goodies of the devil is if you're not in the Holy Spirit, then it's overpowering to the flesh, and the flesh doesn't want to go into the kingdom of heaven. The flesh wants to stay here, wants to be comfortable and live in the present, the now, and make the best of things now. That sigh and that cry, right? So crying is another word. Complaining, you sigh, all right? Oh, brother, or your body, you start getting older and your joints, they stiffen up. Your body stiffen up when you getting in out of the car, right? Right? It's just always something to fucking complain about. Salakia. This is Luke chapter 9. Did I read this already? Yeah, I read this already. Salakia. This is Isaiah chapter 25, verse 8. He will swallow up death in victory, right? Yahweh Shai, right? When he was crucified for the sins of our nation, that's what he did, right? He conquered death, and he's when he makes his second return, he's given the elect the ability to conquer death as well, right? Inherit immortal bodies that are going to be incapable of sinning. The consequences of sinning is having to die, death. Therefore, we're never going to have to worry about death hovering over us, that black cloud hovering over us for the rest of our lives. And the Lord Yahweh will wipe away tears, right? Put a stop to all of our complaints, right? And we're literally going to be crying because, don't eat. Just because, we're men, don't think for a second that not each and every last one one of the 144,000, each and every last one of the elect, literally have cried tears because of the abominations that are done thereof, in contrast to the kingdom of heaven being established. When you especially when you first wake up and you realize that this is the truth, it's so beautiful, and it's so comforting, right? It's so liberating, right? At the present time, just being filled up instantly with that hope of, that relief of, oh shit, like, yes, this isn't life, right? That Jay-Z shit. This can't be life, right? There's got to be more. This can't be us, right? When you realize that there is more, there is there's a much more, right? There's an infinite amount of more to life than what we've grown to be used to, what we've been trained and forced and tricked into being used to, right? And when the deliverance happens, you ever watch a movie, it might be a boxing movie, right? What or they call it a tear jerker, right? You ever watch a movie where the main character, they struggle all their life, right? There's many movies, they struggle all their life, right? They might train hard as hell for a certain competition, right? And all right. I'll use the movie Set It Off, right? Wicked, right? Of course, it's a wicked movie, but the spirit of it is the embodiment of the struggles of Jake, Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. You grow up struggling, they grew up struggling so much, right? Complaining, right? They was on the roof complaining and shit, right? Complain, right? They trying to make the best. They trying to have a positive mindset. Vivica A. Fox, she was content. She was working at the job. She was working at the bank. She lost her job for something that was out of her control, right? And really it was they profiled her, they because she was black, they easily assumed that she had something to do with the robbery that took place at her place of employment, which was a bank, right? She got fired even though she was doing the right thing. She did, she tried her best, right, to be successful and just suck it, to deal with things for what they are, right? And it still wasn't enough. She lost her job, right? She was face to face with death. That lady got shot in her face, right? And she said, I just counted. She said, you gonna fire me after everything I do, right? Cause she knew sincerely it wasn't her fault, right? She said she just counted millions of dollars by hand for this devil at her job, right? Just to get fired, right? So they got tired of complaining, they got tired of struggling, right? And they took matters into their own hands. They start robbing the banks, which, of course we don't condone that. We don't, that's not the way to go. That's not going to save you. No matter how much money you get, it's not going to make the difference necessary, right? The difference that we're truly looking for is not going to truly liberate us, right? They robbed the banks or whatever. They started, they felt like they was doing something. They felt a sense of freedom, right? They felt like they started having a solution to their problems, right? And just for to realize that just for them to fail, right? When Cleo, right, when she was so tired and fed up, you know, rather than surrendering, surrendering and going back to slavery, going back to that lifestyle of being controlled and not taking matters into your own hands, right? She attempted to do, you know, go out in a shootout, right? And she got shot up all crazy, right? So that's one example. When you try so hard, no matter how much you try, you still fail, right? And then, you know, you got the other movies where, you know, you know, it might be a sports, it might be an athlete. They've been playing basketball all their life. You know, they had to deal with all these struggles and obstacles, you know, and it looked like they wasn't going to make it, right? But they wound up making it to the league. They wound up winning that championship fight, whatever it was, you know, and just the sense of winning and overcoming, you know, that sense of wanting to desperately overcome all of your problems, all of your obstacles, all of your complaints, right? You know, it bring you to tears. And so how much more once Yahushua delivers the elect of the nation of Israel, and we're actually free from all of this shit, man. All right. He will swallow up death and victory, and the Lord Yahweh will wipe away tears. You know how many people that we know that have died, right? And just knowing that you made it out of everybody else, that's worth, you know, crying alone, right? From wipe away tears from off all faces of the elect, and the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth, right? And won't nobody be able to have nothing to say about us. No nation will be able to look down on us and blame us for things being fucked up. You know, nobody will be able to look down on us and take advantage. And you know, aid to our confusion, you know, aid to our adding to sin or becoming corrupt, right? And the rebuke of his people, right? Because what? The Heavenly Father rebuked, right? The Heavenly Father got disgusted, right? He turned his face from us. He stopped dealing with us, right? And the reason why we suffer all the things in life is because the Lord stopped dealing with us. But the Lord is going to, all the curses that has been allowed to be put on us is going to go away, right? We're going to be free from that. And the rebuke of his people shall he take away from off all the earth. For the Lord have spoken it. It's not going to be nowhere on the face of the earth that we're not going to be able to be comfortable at. You know, we're not going to have any limitations of where we could go and where we can't go. We're going to be able to go up into the heavens, man, and inhabit, you know, these planets that are desolate, that are empty, just waiting to be filled up with life. Revelation 7:17, for the land which is Yahushua, which is in the midst of the throne, right? And the kingdom of heaven is going to be surrounded around Yahushua, right? The earth is going to revolve around Yahushua, beginning with the Heavenly Father Yahweh. For the land which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, right? The elect are being fed this truth, right? And shall lead them unto living fountains of water, everlasting life, right? The fountain of youth, which is this truth, right? That will lead us to the kingdom of heaven, which we will inherit brand new perfect bodies incapable of death and sin. And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. Revelation 21:4. And Yahweh shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. Right? When we realize that we've won, that we've overcame, right? We've passed the test. We've, you know, because this is all, everything that we're experiencing now is all preparation for the kingdom. When we are in the kingdom, we're going to appreciate the kingdom so much, because we're going to always have this lifestyle, this life which is hell to reflect on. You know, we're going to remember what life was like when we weren't ruling the earth, when Yahweh Hashem Yahushai wasn't being respected, right? Feared and respected on the face of the earth. So Lord willing, this is edifying. I know it dragged out. I like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Citations to the hopeful elect across the four corners of the earth. In the sincere spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, beginning with the 144,000.